All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Living the Dream podcast. We're actually changing the name because I'm expanding outside of just Austin. So it's not Living the Dream People of Austin anymore. It's Living the Dream. And today we have Kelli Sekel, young entrepreneur and dreamer on the podcast today. And I'm sure she has a lot of great stuff in store for us. We get to hear about her dreams, and how we can help her. So, Kelli, how are you doing today?
I am doing fantastic. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm super excited to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. No, my pleasure. I'm glad that I could get you on the podcast. So I just like to jump right in. How about you start with telling us a little bit about yourself, your family, and what you like to do for fun?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am from Austin, Texas, born and raised. Grew up in private school, like kindergarten through eighth grade, and then made the jump into public school after that for 2 years. Ended up dropping out and doing online school to finish it. So I've kind of done all of it as far as schooling goes, and then decided not to go to college. That definitely was just not the path for me. It wasn't gonna like give me what I wanted out of life for sure. And I'm really fortunate that I recognized that before, jumping in and getting in debt. Um, but yeah, my
Honestly,
parents are,
because I did jump in and I am in debt.
everybody is. That's how it goes. But my parents are from up north, and so they escaped the cold and had me and my sister grow up down here, raised by my dad. My mom was like the breadwinner of the family, did all the work. And so definitely had like a very unique growing up experience. Um, but yeah, so I currently work part-time at Juice Land. I'm a little juice barista, and also a nanny, and also have been doing Uber for a little bit now, and that's super fun. Definitely my favorite job, trying to get into that full time. And then as far as like having fun goes, I love to just go out, be in nature, go hiking, camping. Austin is definitely like the best place to do that. But then I also like to stay in and like read, write, make music. So kind of like all sorts of things.
Oh, you make music?
Yeah. Had we not gotten to that yet?
No, no, we hadn't. Do you like play a specific instrument or?
Okay, so basically, I grew up at the private school I went to. You are forced to play an instrument starting at third grade.
Gotcha.
So I played cello for like 10 years now. I don't play it so much anymore. Got into guitar a little bit, but right now I'm more focused on writing lyrics, and then potentially like in the next months to like a year going to like an actual vocal coach and learning how to sing. So I'm like, I'm kind of in the middle. I'm okay, but I'm like, there's a lot of room for improvement for sure.
Epic, epic. We're gonna have to have you on another episode just to play us music.
Yes, the update.
Yeah, yeah, no, exactly. Okay, so that's really cool. So I got that you work part-time at Juiceland, Ubering, nannying, and you love to go out hiking, camping. So we got a little bit about you. How about you tell us how old you are? Because I think that's a very, very good detail to have for the
I think,
audience.
yeah, it's definitely a key detail. I'm 21, just turned 21 a couple months ago.
Epic. Epic. I love. And what was on your Bumble Biz profile? What was your goal?
Oh my gosh. So retire by 23. It was 30, but now it's 23 because you gotta shoot for the stars, right?
Yep.
Gotta have your goals as high as possible. It's okay if you miss them. It's better than not having goals at all. So I'm like, that seems like a great goal to have.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. I love the retirement by 23. I'm also on the retire really early. I think it's like a fire movement or something like that. Financial independence, retire early is what I've heard some people call it, but I was
Oh,
on
I
it
haven't heard
before.
that yet.
I know
I've heard Team YRAF, Young, Rich, and Free.
I haven't heard that. That's funny. I'm hearing all these new little slogans and acronyms, but that's fun. So I love the retirement by 23. Love the energy. We'll loop back around to that as we get more into your dreams and goals. But how about your motivation in life? What just gets you up?
Yeah, absolutely. So I feel like it comes from a lot of things, but something that has been like super important to me recently and that I've been focusing on is just creating like the best life for like my future family, my future kids. Like I feel like that is such a huge driving force in my life, and you don't hear many like 21-year-olds talking about that.
Exactly.
But at the same time, I'm just like, I need to like get myself right and in the right place, to be able to support and like provide and have an epic life with my future family. And then another thing is just like being young, not being in school whenever there's like so much pressure to be in school right now is like proving a lot of people wrong. Um, but also proving myself wrong as far as a lot of my like limiting beliefs and like self-doubts. I feel like that's a huge thing, is like proving to myself when I think I can't that I totally can.
Yeah. Just curious. This might be a little bit of a pry. It wasn't on the scripted questions, but what, if you don't mind sharing, what are some of your limiting beliefs that you have kind of like identified for yourself?
Yeah, totally. We can go there. Well, I think like first of all, just in general, having belief in myself, like seeing what others do and thinking like that I can also do that. I think another thing is just like insecurity and comparison, which is super common, especially with social media. It's like you see everybody's like perfect lives and you're like, how could I ever? But you don't see the behind the scenes on that. So kind of getting over that hurdle of comparing myself and being more than just like my insecurities, because I feel like they hold me back in a lot of ways, which is really ridiculous whenever you like look at it from that external perspective. You're like, okay, that's not a big deal. People have way bigger issues than me. So I feel like those have been some huge like growth things in my life recently.
Yeah, awesome. I love it. So just kind of insecurities and belief in yourself. I was actually having a conversation with a friend yesterday, so it's very relevant for me of like, I'm also on the financial independence early, really young guy, trying to do a lot of stuff against the grain of society. So I completely feel you on that. But I was like, man, I like sometimes, honestly, most of the time, I don't believe it can actually happen. Even though I know the steps, like I know the steps to financial independence early, especially through real estate. It's a beautiful thing, beautiful way to go. But yeah, I feel you on those limiting beliefs. That's why I just kind of wanted to hear a little bit from you so we could relate on that.
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah. Okay. Well, how about your dreams? What are they? Let's hear them.
Oh my gosh. Well, there's so many. Um, no, I had to list them out so that I'm not just like all over the place right now because there's so many. But I know like the first time that we talked, we were talking about like the difference between success and significance. And so I feel like I have dreams that kind of fall into both categories. But like first, like anybody who knows me in person well will know that like I'm trying to get to Hawaii ASAP. Like that is like my short term, like I need to go dream right there. Like I needed to be there yesterday, basically.
Yeah.
We're still working on that because, you know, I want to be in like a great financial situation when I get there. One of my like biggest dreams throughout my entire life, like even growing up, was building my own house. You know, I'm not like as keen as I was when I was 8 years old on like having a full room of cookie dough, but I mean, it would be cool. Um, but you know, like just to having a really awesome house that I get to design and build, that's always been like super huge for me. And then having like a full-time family where it's not like just being like a stay-at-home mom, like that sounds amazing, but I want like whoever my future husband is to be at home with us. I want to raise my own kids and instill my own values into them and like, yeah, raise them the way that I want them to be raised. I feel like that's super duper important to me. So those are kind of like on the selfish, like I need those things for me type of vibe.
Yeah.
But another thing that's like super important to me is just having my like impact on this world. And that's like in so many different arenas. Something that's like always been really like on my heart is helping like the homeless, like particularly homeless vets. I think that shouldn't be a thing. Like that's completely unfair and makes no sense to me. And so, you know, this year, just like really focusing on, you know, putting my money, what I can spare, like towards causes that I care about, like Caritas of Austin, you know, donating not only money, but like, you know, personal care products, food, whatever I can do to like, just like even a small impact, it makes a difference. And continuing to like expand and be able to give back and also like buying back my time. So I'm not only just like donating my money, but I'm able to like give my time to causes that I care about. That's really, really important to me. I'm also a 5-year vegan. So I know, crazy, right? So I really want to be like more involved in that community. I feel like it's something that I haven't been super involved in the past because it can be kind of controversial. I don't want to be like the people at events that are showing you videos of animals getting like slaughtered. Like that's just not cool.
Yep.
I don't want to be on that side of it, but I do want to be like on the solution seeking side of like what we can do about commercial agriculture and like our oceans and making things sustainable. I am totally all for veganism. I think it's great, but I don't think it's for everyone. And I'm never someone to like force my opinion on people, but I am here to make everything more sustainable and better for this world, whatever that looks like for you. So that's super important to me. And then also just like pouring into young people. I feel like whenever I graduated high school, I was so lost. I had no idea like what the heck I was doing with my life. And I wish that I had like someone there to be like, you're going to be okay. Just keep following your gut. Like it's going to be fine and it's going to work out. And so just like teaching kids that it's okay. And like, if you don't want to go to college, that's okay. You shouldn't be going because your parents want you to go. That's a terrible reason to go to college. You shouldn't be going if you have no idea like what you're going to do with that. You also probably shouldn't be going if you're just going to party, but like that's a whole nother thing. Like that's fine. I mean, that's a good excuse. It's just an extension of high school. But yeah, just giving hope to like young people. I think that something going on right now is everything is becoming digital. And, you know, a bunch of jobs are going to be taken over by robots like in the next 10 years. So a lot of my friends are going to school for jobs that aren't going to exist when they graduate, which is really scary to me. And I don't know why nobody's talking about this. Yeah. Like it blows my mind because it's going to be huge. And I don't think any industry is really safe from that. There was this video, I don't remember what it was called, but it really went into detail about anywhere from like high level professions to just being like a standard barista, like your job could potentially be taken over very soon. Like the technology already exists, which is really scary. So just teaching kids that there's other ways to get ahead in life and you don't have to be stuck with like a 9 to 5. I don't think that that's really the goal of most people in our generation for sure.
Oh yeah.
So those are some of my dreams. I feel like that was a lot and I feel like there's so many more, but it's kind of a synopsis of it.
Yeah. No, love it. Thank you for sharing all that. I guess I have a question. You said that you were really lost when you left high school, and then you also said that now you kind of have a clear goal of like creating the best life for your future kids and also like getting out of those limiting beliefs. So tell us a little bit about that journey of like how you came to that clear goal. At what point you knew that that's what you wanted to do, create the best life for your future kids, etc.
Right. Yeah, totally. And I feel like it's just been an evolution over the past like 2 years because it's been 2 years since I graduated high school. And coming out of that, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I always and I think that this is like what everyone will say. It's like, I want to help people, but nobody really knows necessarily how to do that, how to get into the lives of other people. And so I had no idea what I was going to do, but I was like, I probably should move out of my parents' house because everybody else is going to college. And about like half a year into that, I was like, what am I doing? I'm bored. I'm not going anywhere with my life. I'm honestly like, my life just became a cycle of like, go to work, come home, smoke weed, go to sleep, repeat. And, you know, that's fun. That's like a good life, but it's not like the great life that I desired and I knew that I could have. I feel like I've just like always known that like I was meant for more in life than that. And so, you know, honestly, it really came down to like meeting the right people and making the right connections and being introduced to, you know, amazing systems and training and learning that like, there's so much more out there to life and, you know, read a book once in a while. It will change your life. Oh my gosh. I hate how like everyone, and not everyone, I don't want to speak for everyone, but so many people our age, they don't want to read because they have this idea that, you know, reading sucks from school because you're forced to do it. Yeah, but once you get out, you can learn so much from books and getting that association. I think also upgrading my association, not hanging out with the same people as much. I love all of my friends from the past, but really hanging around people that had the same values as me and were going the same direction as me has changed everything. But I think at the end of the day, it just came down to like the people that I met and like really expanding my dream, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, for sure. I feel that. I think relationships I think there are two really important things that I resonate that you said right there. Relationships are just key to life. Like, you always hear that quote about show me the 5 people that you're closest with, and I'll like show you your future and where you're going and how you're going to be. Because you're just the average of those 5 people. We're such social creatures, and we get that feedback from other people. And the other thing is reading. I don't know if you know about this stat, but the biggest difference, not the biggest difference, but a key difference between CEOs of like Fortune 500 companies and the average employee is CEOs will read on average 52 books a year, and then the average employee will read 1 book a year on average. Just a huge knowledge gap of like,
wow.
yeah.
Yeah, I have not heard that before. That's insane. Oh my gosh. Well, I need to start reading more. I read more than 1 book at least, but like definitely not 52. That's crazy.
Yeah, no. And then I thought about it. I was like, okay, so if the average CEO reads 52 books a year and they're functioning at this level, like what is somebody that's functioning like 10x their level doing? And I was like, you'd have to read 520 books a year. And I kind of just calculated out the math. I was like, that's about 6 hours, 5, 6, 7 hours of reading a day. And I was like, do you know who reads that much? Warren Buffett. And then I was like, man, this is wild.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'd believe it though, for sure.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be that extreme of reading 6 hours a day, but it's like consistent reading. He says, Warren Buffett also says knowledge compounds, much like money can compound. And it's just like, man, just read consistently and it'll change your life. And the right stuff. Don't read stupid stuff. That tells you wrong information. But honestly, even if you read the stupid stuff that tells you wrong information, I feel like you can learn something. There's always something to learn in 200 pages of books.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, absolutely. You'll learn not to trust it, right?
Exactly. Yeah. You'll just be like, I don't think that makes sense. I shouldn't do that.
Yeah. Sharpen your discernment a little bit. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, no, that's really cool. And I like how you, I like that transformation, just upping the level of people you're around, getting clear on your goals. And there was also like that self-analysis portion of like, you were 6 months in, 6 to 12 months in, and you were like, what am I doing with my life? I think that's an important moment that a lot of people shy away from. So I want to commend you for like going into it and like coming out on the other end and growing from it. Congratulations. So yeah, so we have a good idea of your dreams. If you were able to have one person or a group of people help you with your dream right now, how would they do it? Or your dreams, any one of them?
Yeah, totally. Well, I don't even think I mentioned this. Another huge part of like my dreams is being able to pursue my passions, which would be like writing and creating music without having to monetize that. Because I find that whenever you monetize your passions, it becomes something that you're really stressed out about, rather than something you enjoy anymore. I worked at a small vegan restaurant for a while, and the owner was amazing, and it was like her dream to have a restaurant, and she was just stressed out all the time and working so hard. And I was just like, that woke me up to the point where I was like, I cannot turn my hobbies into what I'm doing for money. Like, that's just not going to work at the end of the day. So I think like, networking and just meeting more people in the creative fields that I'm interested in. I'm all about like learning from people that are a step ahead of me or like 10 steps ahead of me. So like kind of opening those doors, because I feel like I have a very set path on where I'm going with my life, and I feel super confident in it. But as far as like my creative fields, I don't necessarily have a mentor or somebody teaching me about what it takes to succeed in those industries, and getting that like, I don't want to say negative, constructive feedback. Because it's easy for me to like send music I make or like show my writing to my friends, and they're like, that's awesome. And I'm like, is it really though?
Yeah.
So I would love to just like meet people that can give me that feedback and help me grow in that area, because I know that that's just becoming more and more a part of my life at the moment.
I feel that. I love that. So being able to pursue your passions without monetizing it. Yeah. Okay. So if somebody were to be able to help you do that or any of your other dreams, would it be something specifically with the financial piece, a mentor for the music and kind of creative writing piece, or what would it be for you?
Yeah, I feel like a mentor as far as the creative side goes would be super important for me. I feel like I'm on a great path financially right now, despite my crazy schedule and my millions of jobs. I just like to work, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I feel that. Okay. So great path financially. And so the biggest help for you right now is a mentor as far as the creative side goes.
Yeah. I feel like life is all about making connections, and I don't necessarily have any doors open or anything like that in those industries. And so I want to learn more about it and be like, this is something that I want to pursue, obviously on the side, but like I want to see like the ups and downs of it and what it's really like. So even like shadowing someone that has put their life into that would be super awesome for me.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I love it. I love it. And so as far as this mentor goes, what are some like key attributes you would want in them?
That's a great question. I think first of all, just like being able to have like an honest like mentor mentee relationship where I feel comfortable showing my work, because creativity, like anything from that spectrum, can be very personal, but where I'm like able to honestly show my work and accept that feedback, because whenever there's no trust built, it's really hard to like receive feedback, and not just be butthurt about it, I feel like.
Yep.
And just accept their opinion on it and learn from that and grow from that, and then just someone to keep me accountable, keep me on track, because I feel like success is a planned event. You need to be working on your goals on a daily basis to get where you want to go. And accountability is like my word of the year, something that I'm like, I need to focus on this and work on it. I think this generation is kind of flaky, so I'm trying to step out of that and get better at it. So just so that I can be accountable to someone to like, keep my head down and work towards my goals, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, for sure. That makes a lot of sense. So accountability and just honest relationship where you feel comfortable showing your work and getting constructive criticism.
Yeah, exactly.
Love it. Okay. Is there anything else that the listeners of the podcast can do for you when it comes to your dreams and goals?
That is a good question. I feel like that should be about it. Honestly, I'm just all about meeting new people, making new connections, and you never know like where that's going to lead you, like one new relationship with someone. So I am like excited about this project you're working on, because it's all about helping each other, getting to know one another. And that's like totally the spot in my life that I'm in at the moment. And so I'm like super excited to meet people from like all across the board, not necessarily just in the creative field.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm excited that we could have you on then, because that's exactly the spirit that we want on the podcast. Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and jump into our Thriving 3 then. I love to hear about how people, how successful people get to being successful, or how people are trying to work towards their dreams and goals. And a big part of that, I think it's learning, taking care of yourself, and taking action. So those are 3 things I'm going to ask you about today. What is your favorite book?
Okay, yeah, that's a loaded question. I really had to think about, because I feel like every book I read, I'm like, this is my new favorite.
Yep.
But I would say like there's 2 books that I tend to come back to. That's going to be The 4 Agreements. I'm sure you've heard of that one.
Oh yeah.
Maybe. Such a good book. I would say that completely transformed my life when I read it, like mid high school. Just gave me such a positive outlook on life and made me honestly just stop caring so much about what other people are thinking, because at the end of the day, they're not really thinking about you at all.
Oh yeah.
And then another one that you probably haven't heard of, it's called Eternal Sunshine, and it's by this guy named Londrell. He does like music, and he has like meditations. He has like a whole app that I love, and I try to get everybody into it, because it just sends you like positive quotes and affirmations throughout the day. And it's like exactly what you need when you get it. You're like, yes, amazing. Breathe a little bit. But he has books just about like self-love, and they have lots of poetry, lots of like self-exploration. And I think that this year I've just been on a journey of like growing my self-awareness. And I always go back to his principles on self-love, because I feel like that's really what stems into every relationship in your life. So super important to like stay centered around loving yourself at the end of the day. So those would be like my two favorites, but I could go on and on about books. I love reading so much now.
Yeah, no, that's epic. I love the Four Agreements has been really high on my reading list. Like it's always pending as like either the next book I'm getting or maybe I'll get one right before I get it. And so I just need to go ahead and pull the trigger on the Four Agreements. And then I've never heard of Eternal Sunshine. You're right. So maybe I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. He's definitely hasn't like blown up or anything yet. He's still pretty small, but so talented, and he has a lot of wisdom, and it's awesome just getting to like tune in, listen to his music. Like he's doing big things for this world. So yeah. Love it. It's like a ray of positivity, which is like me. So
yeah, no, that's awesome. That is awesome. Okay, well, what is one way you like to care for yourself?
Okay, so I think that just like getting out into nature, going on hikes, getting unplugged, like leaving my technology at home and just being alone with my thoughts. I don't really like to be alone with my thoughts. I'd rather like talk to myself so I can kind of guide what I'm thinking about. I think that that's like super important as far as thought life goes. But just getting out and into the world, connecting with nature just is super grounding. And I feel like that can always like turn my day around, which is awesome. And then also like the power of just speaking positive affirmations into your life. That's been like a huge thing that I've added in the last year. And it's so helpful. If you're just like very diligent about what you're speaking to yourself, it literally will change how you think. And it's so important to do.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And I really like the positive affirmations aspect of it because it's something, one of my favorite books is The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale. And
oh my gosh, I started that today at Half Price Books. I'm just like sitting in there reading it. It's so good.
Yeah, no, I love that book. And just it is a powerful thing. And not just the affirmation part, but when the affirmations can start to be your actual like self-talk in your head, that's when I'm like, I really want to get to that point because I'm pretty good with like verbal affirmations, but then my mind will betray me sometimes. And
oh yeah.
Yep. So anyway, I love positive affirmations. Okay, what is one action step you could take right now to get that mentor as far as the creative side of your life goes?
I think just honestly, just getting out there. I feel like I've been growing my people skills so much this year, just connecting with people, meeting people. You never know like where that person that's going to change your life is going to come from. That's like, besides the money aspect of it, that's such a huge reason that I drive Uber, because I'm connecting with like such a diverse population of people that I like probably wouldn't meet except driving Uber. And so just meeting people from all across the board, absorbing like whatever knowledge they have, asking questions of them, and just really looking for that person that's going to help me like level up in that area of my life.
Yeah, no, I love that. Connect with people, meet people, and I love it. Okay, well, is there anything else that you want to chat about before we get off the podcast?
I don't think so. There's nothing too much that I have on my mind at this moment.
Gotcha. Well, in that case, if you're listening to this podcast and you like Kelli, you can hit her up. I'll have her contact information, whatever she gives to me. Maybe she doesn't want to talk to you guys, but I'm sure she does because she likes connecting.
I do. I promise.
Yeah, I'll have her contact information in the show notes and on the social media posts. And if you're listening and you know a creative mentor in the Austin area, or do they have to be in Austin, Kelli? Do you want the face-to-face?
Be wherever. I would love to meet them face-to-face, but wherever they come from, I'm super not opposed to it.
All right. If you're listening and you have access to a creative mentor that loves to help other creatives who are early in their journey, connect them to Kelli, and her contact information will be in the show notes. On that note, thank you so much for being on the show, Kelli, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. All righty. See ya.